Good morning.
Hi.
Good morning.
I didn't know you pressed the button.
Yeah, the button's pressed.
It should go like beep.
This could be an interesting day because I hear the laundry machine before you had a coffee. What
I know,
is
that's
up with-
weird,
wow.
right?
Wow. Mm-hmm. Hey, what do you, Mrs. Ruby, what do you do that's quirky?
Oh.
Sure is windy in here. What do you do? I think you have a lot of little quirks, but it's what I love about you, for the most part.
Why?
I don't know. Because I was at the sink and I realized sometimes, like, I have a quirk or two. Mm. And so I thought one of the quirks that I have, and maybe everybody does it, but like I run the water to fill something, I always have to touch it. And I wait for...
Isn't that kind of normal? We want to make sure it's the temperature that we want it to be.
That's normal?
Yeah.
Oh, so I'm not...
Checking the temperature.
I'm not quirky.
Like, I know we know which way's cold and which way's hot, but...
In my mind, there's yellow stuff coming out of the tap. From the tap holes. Yeah. Like copper or something. And I clear the water. Like, I have to clear the water, and then you get the water. It might be we lived in Asia for 9 years thing.
Maybe.
I'm not really sure. But, like, so me doing that's not quirky, but why I'm doing it would be the weird thing.
Did you feel like you wanted to talk about my quirks?
And then the other thing, And then the other thing I noticed that I do, as I went out to check the traps, the rat traps. Last year I caught a rat. We have rats that have congregated,
and probably conjugated also.
In the hot tub. Like, not in the hot tub, like not swimming, but like in the hot tub. So I've been trying to get rid of them. I caught one last year. Big rat like that with a big tail, teeth like that, and I didn't think they'd come back, but I seen a few little holes, so I'm set out some more traps. Oh, yesterday, did you hear me scream? Like, did you hear that? Oh my goodness. So I'm cleaning the traps, and I'm starting the barbecue, and I'm taking the peanut butter that I left from last year. I didn't clean them. And so I was finishing cleaning. I was taking them all in the house, and one of the big ones, like the big ones that would snap Mocha's neck, it was open, and I went to grab it right on my hand. Yeah.
Did it hurt?
Oh my goodness! Like, I think my hands.
Did you break it? Like, did it hurt your fingers?
Yes, my fingers are still hurting.
Really?
Oh yeah. And Jordan was in his room upstairs, and he's like, "What the heck was that?" No, I screamed. It was on my finger. Anyway.
Which is funny because the quirk that I was
That's not a quirk. That's a accident. Oh, and then the other quirk, as I was talking about the rats, I went to go check the rat trap. But you know what I do first? I don't even think that I know that I didn't know I do it, but then I thought about it that I do it. Is that I check my shoes. Do you check your shoes before you put them on? And this might be another Indonesian thing.
That would be an Indonesian thing.
But I don't really know what I'm checking them for, but I just want to make sure they're clear. Like scorpions. Scorpions go in shoes all the time.
Not here.
I've never seen a scorpion here. In Indonesia, we see them all the time. Little whiptail scorpions. When smush them, they smell like vinegar.
So can I mention one of your quirks that I love, that it's absolutely adorable?
I was more focused on...
Should I do
this
my own?
This isn't how sharing works. This is... Now you're creating an unsafe environment.
Oh, okay. I'll tell you after.
I want to hear what my quirk is.
When you hear a crash in the house, you go running like you're going to save someone's life. And one of these days, something really bad is going to happen, and I know...
Is that a quirk, or is that like...
you are going to come running to save my life.
I'm alert.
But I just dropped something. So far, it's been really disappointing because it's really just that someone has dropped something.
Did you drop something?
But one of these days, there's going to be a crash. You are going to come running, and I will be hanging from something by... I don't know, maybe I was trying to put something up in the closet and my arm got stuck, and you will save my life.
You are, I think, what they would call, I don't want to pronounce a curse, but...
A little bit accident prone.
Yeah, you've blown out your knee a few times folding laundry. For real.
I know, and if there's a crash, you come running. Like,
so you've caused a distress in my...
I don't think so. I think it's an innate thing inside of you that wants to save my life.
Our son as well. Like, it's always on my mind.
Yeah. No,
like
you have an instinct in you. Like, I think if there was an attacker, you'd not be the guy that runs away. You would be the guy that runs right to him. I have full confidence.
I would get Jordan first.
Really?
Mm-hmm. 2-on-1 always works out better.
You'd get Jordan because he could help you, and in the meantime, I'm dead.
Sacrifices.
Because you saved Jordan.
Well,
I think we need to...
In our bedroom, the door is here.
I think we need to move on.
And then the bed is here, and you are here.
I know. It's like...
And so it would give me time if anything, heaven forbid, happens.
But I'm dead. You got the bat,
I don't think you would be dead that quick. Like,
We've digressed.
Mangled. What was your quirk?
My quirk? I don't know. I have a few. Oh. I know that I have a few. I know that one that I notice since like teaching at church and watching my videos to try to figure out my quirks is I move my glasses with my nose. Everyone's gonna notice it now. Right now
you're moving them with your hands. How do you move them with your nose?
I don't want to do it.
Show me.
You'll watch the video. You'll watch the video, and you'll see me do it like 10 times during this video.
Like you go like this?
Yeah.
How do you do it?
I don't know.
Like a rabbit?
I don't know. I probably can't do it right now, but I've seen it in my like when I watch my teachings to hear all my ums and likes and okays.
Yeah, a lot of that's just from my anxiety. But
what's a quirk? I have lots of quirks.
This is where we will start to read our devotion.
I think so.
Your main quirk is that you're
just talk about all
loving
the ways I drive you crazy.
No.
Is
putting stuff away a quirk? It makes people mad for some odd reason. Because I put stuff away. Like, I'm constantly...
I feel like we just need to read. I feel like this is a good time.
Happy birthday, Ryan. It's 21st birthday.
And he's at work.
He's working on the
Essential
grind.
Worker.
On the double. April the 30th. Balance. The goal is balance. Like on a balance beam. We need balance between work and play. We need balance between giving and receiving. We need balance in thought and feelings. We need balance in caring for our physical self and our spiritual self. Word. A balanced life has harmony between a professional life and a personal life. There may be times when we need to climb mountains at work. There may be times when we put extra energy into our relationships, but the overall picture needs balance. Just as a balanced nutritional diet takes into account the realm of our nutritional needs to stay healthy, a balanced life takes into account all our needs. Our need for friends, work, love, family, play, private time, recovery time, and spiritual time, time with God. If we get out of balance, our inner voice will tell us we need to listen. My prayer today. Our prayer today. Today, I will examine my life to see if the scales have swung too far in any area, or not far enough in some. I will work towards achieving balance. That's a good word.
Self-examination is a good idea. In many areas. And I think that's a good one.
Like, so self-examination, I would assume that you would put metrics in there. Like, because I think we have the inability to examine ourselves very well. Like, we walk around with mustard on our face all day long and we don't see it, but other people do. So
Bad
that's
breath.
probably... What?
Bad breath.
Bad breath.
That's a good one because you can't even really tell. This does not tell you if you have bad breath. Not really.
No, but you need other people, I think
you need
for
other
balance.
people.
And then when we look at how we're made, we have our basic instincts. They're all good, but it's when they become exaggerated, there's a lot of self. So if I exaggerate the need for a roof over my head and I'm providing for my family, I'm working 10, 15-hour days and I'm doing work, and money, and there's out of balance and I'm not taking care of my recovery life or my spiritual life, but my work life is first and foremost. And I get, like, there's seasons, if you will, that you have to push in certain areas, but then I think the goal is balance. And like with recovery, like, well, when it came to recovery at the very beginning, for the first 2 years, it was all recovery, all Bible, all recovery, consume, consume, consume. Was the home life imbalance? Like, was there balance? It was very, I need to recover. And so it was all recovery focused meetings and all that stuff. So where it gets out of balance is when I'm trying to make up for lost time with my kids, with my job. And I emerge from 10 years of addiction trying to make up for lost time. I think that's an imbalance. But then can you do recovery imbalance? Like, can you over recover? That was a question.
Not for me.
No.
I don't think you're asking me, are you?
How would you weigh in on that? But I guess overall, it's balance. And maybe the balance doesn't come right at the beginning because you're like in rehab. But even in rehab, or even getting out of a codependent relationship, there's always that 3 months or 6 months of like, you don't even have balance in your emotions. You're all over the place. Work ethic and all these things. You're actually recovering. You're changing your belief systems. You're changing everything that kept you alive and gave you definition and meaning. You're actually having to scrap all that. So I think at the beginning, there's not a lot of balance. There's a lot of high emotions and the roller coaster ride of early recovery.
But then just managing to, I think, like I remember you talking about a system that you used to sort of level yourself out again with like thinking. Remember you said you would get dressed in hockey equipment?
Replacement thinking, yeah. So when my mind is out of balance.
So when your mind would get out of balance, or you'd feel it start to climb or whatever, then you would go into the getting dressed.
I would stop my mind. Yeah.
Do the replacement.
So, and I can still do that today by a slogan that we use called think, think, think. And so when I'm thinking about 100 different things and my mind's racing, I use the word think, 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 and it makes my mind think about recovery and how I can be a service to others and what I've done this day to help my recovery.
Because the reason that you first started using alcohol way back was to quiet your mind.
It was my solution.
It was a solution to what was going on in your head. Yeah. And you know, I think it's actually amazing that you'll even sit here and read on camera because you grew up. Can we talk about that?
Yeah.
With the special classes and the reading issues
special classes.
And dyslexia.
Yes.
And I would say 15 years ago, you didn't read anything, nothing. And so the early years of you entering recovery, your ability to read and
focus.
You could have read out loud, even reading quietly. Like, it was amazing to me. We were standing reading something together, and the speed at which you read and the speed at which I read. Remember you were reading those big panels on the wall?
Didn't you say? Anyway.
And I just really realized, like, you have overcome a lot, and it took quieting your mind and trying these techniques that had been introduced to you by professionals of, like, actually, I'm going to, and the prayer, that was a big thing. You've been doing morning devotions for 14 years. I don't remember, I think I remember, like, maybe one summer that you didn't do them, where in the morning,
I took a break. Yeah,
you sit quiet at the table, and you read.
Yeah, I already did that this morning.
You already did that this morning?
Well, and it's like, I do have the responsibility to take care of my spiritual fitness. And a lot of anyone's issues with anxiety and fears and exaggerated instincts or inabilities or abilities, because I might be weak in one area but strong in another. But I do have the responsibility to manage them and keep it in balance. And like I have to force myself to read and do things that I don't necessarily do. I still remember in grade 8 when you do speech class. Like it was, I hated that. It was like, why do they do that? They make everybody have cue cards. You got to memorize it, but I can't memorize it. So I had the cue cards, the white line paper that you put, remember that? Recipes? Yeah. Remember recipes until Google? Anyway, I remember that day so vividly of the anxiety and the nervousness that I had. And now the good Lord feels it fit to be in front of people all the time. Like every Sunday I have to speak to people. Like, ugh.
Which wouldn't have been your plan.
That's
However,
not my plan.
Your early years, or our early years, when you were, what's the word that you used? Over recovery? You were so focused on your recovery. And maybe sometimes I felt like there's more that you could have been doing to make it up to the family all the years that we lost. However,
one sec. Can I interrupt? And maybe you're going there, but did you feel a bit resentful at losing me to recovery? Because you tried so much to keep everything together and fix me, and now I'm doing all this recovery, leaving you, not coming up for dinner because I'm doing... Well, no, I always showed up for dinner.
No. And that was, I think, the where I didn't have resentment is because you were always where you said you were going to be, and you always came back when you said you'd come back. And anything that you said you would do, you fulfilled. If you said you were going to go get groceries, you went and got groceries, and you actually came home with them, which was nice, as opposed to
Has that happened before?
Other times where you went to get milk and didn't come home for 3 days.
And then I remember that day and coming home with $5 in my pocket, going, should I get smokes or should I re-up on the milk because it was like 30 degrees out?
Gross.
And I was like, I'm pretty sure the milk is bad in my trunk. Anyway, I forget what I opted for. I think I got the milk, but I don't know, but I do know that... The addict is very self-centered, by the way.
The consistency did speak something to me. The consistency and the reliability of, like, knowing that you were going to follow through, seeing that your recovery was a priority. And I think a big thing was that you never made any promises. You just did things. You didn't promise me the world. You didn't make grandiose declarations. You just did things. And then we talked about what you were doing, or you told me what you were doing.
That's another whole conversation.
Like,
leave the promises to God and just do what.
But that feels like that maybe the balance sort of came into line like fairly quickly because the goal was the reunification. The goal was not just like your own personal health, but you also had a goal of keeping your family together.
Well, and then running a rehab for 8 years, we implement 9 months of balance. This is what balance looks like. This is what chores in the morning. This is what devos in the morning look like. This is what classes look like. This is what healthy groups look like. This is what exercise looks like. And we do 3.5K walk every day. So we try in a day on a week to put in balance in a rehab center. The dogs are talking.
Dogs are talking.
All right, that's a cue. Much love. We will see you hopefully tomorrow.